Next up, in our look back at all the films that people called the best of the year, Rotten Tomatoes' #1 rated film of the year. I have no opening joke for that. I just can't believe that Paddington 2 is the best reviewed movie of the year. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And as I said, this is the Quest for the Best. It's our look back at all the films that people call the best of the year that we didn't get a chance to review during the year itself. And yeah, Rotten Tomatoes actually ranked their top 100 reviewed films of the year, and Paddington 2 still to this day standing with 100%. Even the regular troll critics who we always look to is yeah, you're gonna hate it because it's good and you hate everything that's good. Wait, you even like this one? What?
It's that being said, we have not seen the first Paddington.
We did, but you don't need to. You don't need to.
No, but I heard that was very good too.
Yeah, that was a surprise one because the trailer for that one, it's Paddington shoving out a big chunk of earwax with a toothbrush and then licking it. And I was like, what are you doing? No, I want no part of this. And they got amazing reviews. And this one's apparently even better. But here's the thing about this film. Even though I am stunned that this is the best reviewed movie of the year, I have to just keep bringing it up. Even though I am stunned at how much everyone loves this, I actually can understand how it has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, simply because, that isn't every critic's score. That is how many critics liked it. And as you watch this, it's I can understand how no one would not like this. I can understand how this would please everyone on some level. Because this really is just an uplifting, fun, very, very charming movie. It's an incredibly charming film. That is really, honestly, the best word for it. And also, one other thing that I have to give this film is that the premise of this movie is Paddington goes to prison.
And you would not think that would be so uplifting or charming.
Well, that, but also, why? That'd be if they made a Winnie the Pooh movie and it was Winnie the Pooh goes to prison. That's about as close as we have to the American equivalent of that. And
Winnie the Pooh was British too.
Oh, yeah, all right. My bad. It'd be if Optimus Prime went to... No, that's Japan. Well, America really doesn't have anything. But no, it's very stunning to me that, they thought that was a good idea for the premise of this film. But when you think about the fact that that's the premise of this film, and you think about the execution of this film, they executed that idea about as well as you possibly could. You watch this as, this still feels like Paddington. This still feels as charming and uplifting and fun and cute and adorable as Paddington should be. And he's in prison right now. There is a big guy there who is basically threatening to murder Paddington. And yet it's still kind of fun and charming.
Was this movie rated PG or G?
I would guess PG. I'm guessing right now. I can still look it up. But yeah, I honestly really had a very good time with this movie. It didn't at any moment PG. It was rated PG.
Okay.
At any moment it never really gave me the wow, oh, tears are flowing down. Oh, all the emotions at once. But I never didn't have a smile on my face.
Oh no, there are plenty of scenes where you were chuckling how cute it was and how silly it was.
Dude, the scene in here in which they go to the lunchroom at prison for the first time is one of the best scenes of any film that I've seen this year. If I did a rank of the top 10 scenes in movies this year, it would probably be up there somewhere. It'd probably be at around number 10, number 9 somewhere, because that is just a brilliantly executed series of awkward comedy, because it's basically Paddington has to go up and complain about the food to the guy who is the head chef there. And the head chef, the moment I saw the back of his head, I went, that's Brendan Gleeson. That is 100% Brendan Gleeson. Yeah, it turns around, it's totally Brendan Gleeson. And he goes up to him, and it's just this series of him commenting on how bad the food is, but in this very polite, it's I'm trying to help you with this. And
that's the thing about Paddington. He's very straightforward, but he's not mean-spirited in any way at all whatsoever.
No, yes.
He's just very sincere.
Exactly.
And that's what makes him so very adorable and charming and fun and that's basically his whole thing. He's just innocent, but nice and good-natured.
Yes. That's exactly what this film was able to capture. Like when this film opens, again, we didn't see the first movie, but when this film opens, it's Paddington just going off with, I think it was the daughter. I think it was in the bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was either the daughter or the mother. I can't really remember. But he's just talking to everyone in the neighborhood as he passes by. He's like, oh, hello, Paddington. And he like knows facts about each of them, and he's like reminding a guy to always get his keys when he leaves in the morning, or remind someone to get their breakfast before they leave the house. And yeah, it's like Paddington is just there to take care of you. And he acts like a screw-up, but he's actually still very helpful. Like, in order to raise money to get his aunt a pop-up book.
For her birthday.
Like her 100th birthday, I think it is. 100th or 90th?
One of those two.
Yeah, it's one of those two.
Which is in bear years, by the way.
Yes. Which I thought that was nice. Again, very charming. A very charming little tiny touch. Which that's what this entire movie is. Little charming tiny touches here and there. But when he's trying to raise money for it, he decides he's going to become a window washer. And it looks like he's just screwing this up. Like, when he starts washing windows, he can't get the bucket up there. So he's just messing everything up. And, like, water's just splashing everywhere. And he's getting all sudsed up himself. And you look at it, it's like, oh, Paddington, you're going to cause such a mess. But no, he actually ends up doing a good job of being a window washer. It's like, man, that's another thing that just kind of makes you like Paddington. Like, yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing, but he still tries his best and still manages to work out. He just manages to work out. It's like, all right, good for Paddington. Yeah, again, like I said, there's really good moments in here, but there's none that like was just like it's the happiest, most wonderful moment I've seen. But dude, it's not trying to be that.
No, it's just whimsical and like, very nice, and it's like the cinematography is great.
It's actually, oh man, that is the one thing I will say in this film that they actually did amazingly. Every now and then they would turn this kind of like into a book, or kind of like into whatever it is they're referencing at the time. Like when they were referencing the pop-up book, like they would make it kind of look like a pop-up book for a second. Or like when they're reenacting this burglary that's going on, they actually would like have like the sketches, it'd be like sketches going in there. Or when they realize who the burglar is, like they have several different sketches of the reported thieves at these locations. And when they realize who it is, they look at him and all the sketches just overlay onto his face. Like, wow, this movie is actually really smart with how it actually like shows everything, with how it's directed, with the cinematography. They actually did that incredibly well. And also, everybody in here is just a really solid actor. Like Hugh Grant pops up in here. And Hugh Grant, man, he has to play this silly cartoon character. He leans into that. Like, he just goes all in on that performance. And, man, I remember when I was growing up and Hugh Grant was thought of to be, like, funny, but, you know, still kind of, like, a fairly serious actor. And it's actually really kind of relieving to, like, see this guy who spent so many years like that now just having a good old time. He's just having fun in this role. But at no point in it did you ever look at Hugh Grant in this movie and you got that sense that he was like, I gotta do Paddington. All right, I'll just show up for the paycheck. No, man, he is happy to be there doing Paddington.
It's like, heck yeah, Paddington.
Yeah. Again, like, this is a British film and it's Paddington. He probably is all about this. Like, probably everybody on this set grew up with Paddington and is very happy to be involved in this in one way or another.
Did you grow up with Paddington, or?
A little. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't, like, a major thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, over here in America, we didn't, like, have Paddington, like, as much. But, like, I saw, like, maybe a few episodes when I was little.
Yeah, he wasn't as iconic, but I remember watching some of the show. I remember reading some of the books.
Yeah, it's like, he's very cute. And, like, I can definitely see why he's just very big and imprinted in everything. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, man, we haven't even, like, talked about the plot or anything. No. But you don't really need to know the plot. It's like, Paddington gets framed for a crime. He ends up going to prison. And
yeah, like, basically, everyone thinks, like, he stole the puppet book that he was trying to earn money for, but it was actually somebody else.
Yeah, which, I mean, there's no surprise in that one. It's Hugh Grant.
No, obviously, it's like, that's the thing, is, like, you can predict what's going to happen in this film, but it's not gonna, it doesn't take away from, like...
It doesn't make you go, all right, let's get to that part now.
No, exactly. It's like, it's entertaining throughout the entire thing, even though it is predictable. Because, you know, it is meant for kids, but, like, it's also for adults, and there's lots of stuff for adults to enjoy, too.
Absolutely.
It's general audience. Everyone can enjoy this.
This is a perfect, like, general audience movie. Like I said, I would be stunned if you watched this and you didn't at least find something in here that you liked, something in here that made you say, I'm glad I actually watched that. But yeah, I think that when he gets to the prison, it actually, again, I look at that, it's like, this is so weird that they did this, and yet it all works because it's still just incredibly charming. Like, Paddington, he mixes in a red sock with everybody's black and white pinstripe suits, so now everyone's suits are pink, and here's the thing, that's a fun, like, little cutesy joke to throw in there, but their suits are continuously pink for the rest of the film, and it adds so much color and so much personality and so much life to what would have been like an otherwise drab and depressing setting.
And like that's eventually what happens in the prison, like as Paddington stays there.
Which again, I don't know if this is a thing that happened in the first film, but every now and again, like this band will just appear when Paddington is like improving and making everything better in the world, and he's just being Paddington. There'll be a band that's just playing a song there, and it's never quite certain whether or not it's just here for our sake or if it actually is like a band that it just exists in this world that's moving around. But that's the kind of film that this is, where it's like, it could be a magical thing, but this film is so charming, it could actually just be a band that just follows Paddington around.
There's like a lot of things in this movie where it's like very outlandish, but it fits in with the world of Paddington.
Yeah, because you see that band, like they're performing when Paddington is like watching all these windows, which was great. But then, like, when he's in the prison and after he started to turn the prison around, all the prisoners are, like, laughing and getting along together. You see them, they're in the prison, like, playing along, too. And it's like, okay, well, that seems like something that's only here for the audience, but I don't know, maybe they're in prison, who knows? I'm not going to question it because it's so fun. But yeah, as I said, he eventually, like, meets up with this really stern and tough guy who just, his name is Knuckles. He's got Knuckles like tattooed on his knuckles, but it's backwards, so he has to hold his hands like that to spell it out. And the guy is acting like he is going to murder Paddington, but then Paddington convinces him to let him make marmalade sandwiches for everyone. And then they eventually start to discover, oh, Paddington isn't the only one who knows some recipes, and all these other prisoners, they each know, like, their own personal recipes from home, and they start making them in the kitchen, and then it basically just turns the prison into, like, an elegant 5-star dining experience. Yeah, man, it's just an incredibly fun, cute, charming thing, and I enjoy the family as well. I'm interested in seeing the first Paddington now to see, like, how the family, like, interacted with Paddington.
Yeah, like, how, like, they pretty much met and everything. It's, like, because it's obvious throughout this movie that Paddington has left such a big impact on this little town.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, after, like, he goes to jail, you can, like, start seeing, like, the little neighborhood falling apart.
Yeah, exactly. The only guy in the neighborhood who doesn't like Paddington is Doctor Who. Which I can't remember that guy's name, but it's also the Scottish guy from In the Loop. Yeah, that guy is like the only one who doesn't like him, and there's the moment in which everybody in the town is standing up against him. It's like, oh yeah, you go town. That's the kind of film that this is. It's like the charm and warmth of Paddington brings everybody together. Which is kind of like the point of Paddington itself, of any of those like childhood, like fantasy, like fairy tale kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a very good moral too. Like Aunt Lucy teaches him, like, if you're nice and polite, everything will turn out right, and eventually it does.
Yeah.
And it's like, we do need more kindness in the world today, and I feel like this is a good example of why.
It's exactly the kind of film that you want to watch when like the world is going to crap.
Yes.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything else in here that I really want to talk about without like getting into too many details. But as I said, in this film, he gets separated from the family, so you kind of see the family off doing their own thing. So I'm kind of interested to see the first film and see like more of Paddington with the family. But I still like the family when they're by themselves, especially like the dad. There's a great sequence with the dad and the mom over in Hugh Grant's house, and just the two of them, like they're suspicious that he's up to something, but they really just kind of have to like very poorly BS their way past all that to make him, like, not suspicious of them.
And it's like, he is totally suspicious of him because Hugh Grant's character is, like, a magician. So he knows about all these, like...
Well, he's the descendant of a magician, but he's an actor himself.
He's an actor himself. Like, so, like, he knows when someone is BSing.
Yeah. But, again, you want to talk about how Hugh Grant just leans into this? His attic is loaded with the costumes from all of his old plays, and he will go on, like, crazy monologues, just like... having conversations with all the other costumes, and it will cut to the other costume that he's talking to, but then he'll be talking in the voice of that character in that costume. So it's kind of like he has like 9 different personalities all in there.
And it's like, this actually works to explain his plot.
Yes. Oh, it's brilliant.
Oh, yeah, because
it's a brilliant way of telling the story.
Yes, because there's so many, like, you know, Disney movies and cartoons and stuff where, like, the villain monologues to nobody in particular except for the audience, and it seems kind of ridiculous. But the fact that he's actually monologuing to his other characters, to himself...
Because he's crazy and he wants an audience because he's an actor so bad. So he's built his own audience, and it's all, like, the different parts of his brain just having a conversation about what the plan is. And it's like... This is actually a brilliant way to, like, tell this story. This is really darn smart.
And it's, like, basically the, should we, tell them about the, pop-up book, or?
Yeah, you know, we can,
Right,
with the Quest for the Best, we don't really worry about the spoiler thing,
well,
but
like,
This high recommendations, go watch it,
yes.
it's super fun.
Yes, spoiler alert, sort of, the pop-up book is actually a treasure map.
Yeah.
So that's why Hugh Grant steals it, because he wants to be rich and everything. And I think that's, like, a great contrast to compared to Paddington, because he just wants to earn this money because he just wants to give the pop-up book to his aunt for a birthday. And that's just...
like, it's a super expensive pop-up book, and he has, like, a coin, and the guy who owns the pop-up, owns the little, like, knick-knack store. Antique store, yeah. He tells him, like, well, you're going to need about 1,000 more of those. So he's like, well, I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to earn. I was like, yeah, man, Paddington, just very earnest, just a very super, like... earnest and charming and straightforward and noble and honorable character there. He's probably one of the better characters of any movie that I've seen this year. He's actually great. So yeah, I guess we'll give it a score now. I'd give this thing a 9.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah, like I said, I can't give it a 10 because even though there's great moments in here, like I said, when he's actually going up there and the whole like that conversation he has with Knuckles, where, like, everyone in the cafeteria is like, he's going to murder Paddington. But Paddington just assumes that when Knuckles is like, oh, please, tell me about how you don't like my food. I love when people tell me that. Paddington just thinks, oh, okay. All right. He bops him on the head with a baguette, and like, but not in, like, a negative way.
It's
but
like,
more,
need I say more? It's like, this is a hard baguette. We can't eat this. Like...
that is an amazing moment, but, like, that's just a really good moment. There's nothing in there that just really, like, blew my mind, and that's why I can't really get up to a 10, but it's like, I don't think this movie's going for a 10. I think this movie is going...
No, it just wants to be entertaining, and it is. It works.
Yeah. Like... So, yeah, man, I give this a solid 9. I think that this was really good, and yeah, this is one of those films that, like, all year long, because this came out, like, in January or February of last year. This is one of those movies that all year long, people have been going, you need to watch Paddington 2. Paddington 2 is actually really good. And I don't just mean for me. Like, I listen to podcasts out there where I hear people on there going, you haven't seen Paddington 2? You need to see Paddington 2. Like, this has been a thing that everybody who's seen Paddington 2 is like, you need to see this movie. And now I watch it, it's like, okay, maybe, like, this cult of Paddington has got a little out of hand. Because, like I said, I don't think it's, like, blew my mind away, but it's like, yeah, man, I understand why it's like, yeah, you want to see this movie?
Like, I don't think it's something you need to watch, but, like, it would be, you should.
If you just need to be uplifted, watch Paddington 2. That is, yeah, like.
But you should watch it. You don't need to watch it, but you probably should.
That's how, that's how I put this, yeah. But yeah, so that was the second installment of our quest for the best. We've got about, like, 5 more of these things to do. I don't know, I didn't officially count, but we've got, like... We've got, like, a handful of these guys left. But if you want to see the rest of our quest for the best, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and follow us on Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy. And especially make sure that you ring that bell. I never wanted to tell people ring the bell because I was like, that's absolute bullshit that YouTube makes it so you have to subscribe twice to us.
Yeah.
That makes no goddamn sense. But I have had so many people contact me over the past couple days saying, so when are you going to start doing the quest for the best and the gauntlet of garbage? And I was like, we already did. Like, days ago. Like, we've been putting these up. Yes. And it's like, oh, I guess I finally have to start doing this and telling people to ring that bell. Alright, so there. Ring the stupid bell because YouTube doesn't know how to run a fucking website. Sorry, I was trying to get through one review without cursing. It feels like if I was going to do the other thing, it would be Paddington. But yeah, and as I mentioned, the Gauntlet of Garbage is also coming up, so if you want to see our reviews of the worst movies of 2018, well, make sure that you come back tomorrow for that. Bye, everyone.
Bye.